straight from Hope Ministry Sanctuary. Pastor Ralf here. Blessings to you all on another beautiful day given to us from God above. I'd like to share this early morning service with you to kickstart your Sunday. My friends, what is holiness according to the Bible? How can I be holy? These are good questions. In 1 Peter 1:16, we read, "You shall be holy, for I am holy." What is holiness? How can we be holy? Listen, the word translated holiness in the New Testament means to be set apart in the Old Testament. Holiness was generally connected with God's protection. So how can we be set apart perfect? All people have sinned, Romans 3:23, and are imperfect. Our only option to be set apart is through the salvation offered through Jesus Christ in John 3:16, Romans 10:9, Ephesians 2:8 through 9. When we believe in Jesus as Lord, He cleanses us from sin and makes us holy, 1 John 1:7. Theologians often refer to this concept as positional sanctification. 1 Peter 2:9 speaks of this new status as well. But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for His own possession, that you may proclaim the excellences of Him who called you out of darkness and into the marvelous light. God calls us holy even though we still commit sins during this life. Friends, in addition to being made holy, we are called to live holy lives. 1 Peter 1:15 teaches, as He who called you is holy, you also be holy in all your conduct. The previous verse adds, as obedient children, do not be conformed to the passions of the former ignorance. We are commanded to avoid the ways we practiced before becoming a Christian and live according to God's ways. We can only do this by living by the power of God. Friends, holiness is so important that theologians refer to this daily practice of living for God to become more holy as progressive sanctification. As we seek to follow God's will, each day we can increasingly become holy as we become more like Christ. Our goal should be to be like Paul. Be imitators of me as I am Christ, 1 Corinthians 11:1. Regardless of the progress we make to become more holy in this life, we will never be perfect. We will still sin at times, as Paul wrote in Romans 7:18 through 19. For I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out. For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I keep doing. It would only be in heaven that all sin will be removed from our lives and we are made perfect. Theologians refer to this as perfective sanctification. These three concepts can be very, very helpful in our daily walk with God. When we are saved, we are made holy. In addition, we are called to obey God and grow in holy living each and every day. Though we will never be perfect in this life, God can and will work in our lives to help us better live for Him. After this life, we can anticipate a perfect eternal existence with God in which no longer sin and are made perfectly holy. Friends, the holiness of Christmas. Christmastime has crawled around again. It's getting closer, leaving countless worn, frustrated people wondering, how can I make this time of year actually mean something? For the spiritually, incited, that question might take this form. How can I turn this hectic, often cross holiday back into a holy day? I find an answer to these questions in one of Helen Schumann's poems entitled The Holiness of Christmas. Friends, Christmas is holy only if you come in silence to the manger, to behold your holiness made visible to you. Your gifts are but your open hands made clean of grasping. Nothing else lay before the newly born except your doubts and fears, your pale illusions, your sickly pride, your hidden venom, and your little love. Your meager treasures and unfaithfulness to all the gifts that God has given you. Here at the altar, lay all this aside, to let the door to heaven open wide, and hear the angels sing of peace on earth. For Christmas is the time of your rebirth, the gifts of God. This poem reenacts a time-honored scene, that one of approaching the Christ child in the manger and bringing him gifts in homage to his holiness. Yet while employing this familiar image, Helen's poem put new and startling twists on many of its most basic elements. In doing so, it presents a different image of what Christmas is all about, an image that might just be able to inject meaning and even holiness into our tired, crazy holiday season. I will talk about the poem on another time in another video. Christmas is holy only if you come in silence to the manger, to behold your holiness made visible to you. That's when it becomes holy. The very first words say something significant. Christmas is holy only if. Do you hear those words? The Christmas season is not inherently holy. It is not inherently anything. Time itself and any portion therein is what we've made it. The season, therefore, is only holy if we decide to use it for a holy purpose. Its holiness or unholiness is in our hands. The Course's own comments about Christmas make this exact same point. It is in your power to make this season an holy season. Your power. So how do we use our power to make this season holy? Well, by coming to the manger in silence. My favorite nativity painting is from 1490 by Gerton Todd St. John's. It is set inside a dark stable, in the middle of which is a manger containing baby Jesus. On the right, leaning over one end of the manger, is Mary, her hands together in an almost prayer-like fashion. Behind her, in the shadows, is Joseph. On the left, at the other side end of the manger, are 5 small female angels gazing on an infant. In the middle are a cow and a horse, also facing the manger. The infant's body is aglow, and this is the only light source in the entire room. All faces are turned toward him. All faces are lit with his pale white light, and all faces have nearly the same blank, expressionless stare. They are looking on something that evolves no human emotion. Their minds appear to be held suspended in the rays of the infinite's light, empty of all normal thoughts and feeling, filled only with this holy light. They are transfixed, as if they could go on staring at this wonder, silent and motionless, for hour after hour, day after day. This is the feeling that Helen's poem evokes in me, as if I am coming before the manger, not just silent verbally, but silent in the deepest way, empty of all my schemes and plans, vacant of all my preconceptions and beliefs, totally receptive to the shining reality of this infant and what he has to show to me. If you come to the manger in this way, my friends, what do you see? Traditionally, the visitors come before the manger to pay tribute to the holiness of the child. Though a beautiful idea, this doesn't really challenge our fundamental belief system, does it? In a world where everyone seems unholy, one can easily imagine that someday, somewhere, there will be here an absolute unique child born with the task of redeeming this unclean place. Yet Helen's poem implies that if you come to the manger in true and profound silence, you see something not included in the traditional picture. Something completely unexpected. Something that does shake loose your basic belief system. You behold your holiness made visible to you. You see that the child's holiness, so pure and immaculate, so far removed from your unholy ways, is actually yours. Could it be that underneath your ego, you are every bit as holy as he? And could it be that he came simply to make visible your holiness so that your eyes could look up and your unbelieving mind accept it? Picture in this view, the manger scene is not about worshiping the child. It is about seeing him as the concrete manifestation of what you really are. And this is a truly different way of looking upon Christmas. Think about all those Christmas carols that praises the infant Jesus. Are they any that depict him as a silent song of praise to us? Imagine that you yourself are in the painting I just described. You are there in that dark stable, leaning over the manger, gazing on the infant's shining form in awe and wonder. Now, as you see the Holy Child before you, whisper to yourself, "This is my holiness, made visible to me." Your gifts are but your open hands, made clean of grasping. What an odd idea. Your gifts are but your open hands? How can empty hands be gifts? Your gifts are supposed to be what in your hands. Empty hands are not gifts. They are a sign that you forgot to bring one. Your hands are supposed to be filled with something befitting a boy king, with gold or frankincense, or at the very least a little drum. This child, however, has not come here to be praised or to have expensive gifts lavished upon him. He has come only to give. He wants nothing for himself. His only goal is to reveal to you your holiness. His only desire is to find himself reborn in you. And what keeps you from being aware of his holiness within you? It is your grasping after the petty gifts of the world, and every grubby dollar or greasy donut or oily body you grab after, you affirm that you are a poor beggar deprived of the riches of your Father's holy presence in your heart. Therefore, my friends, your gift to this child is your open hands scrubbed clean of all the residue left by stroking the world's grimy treasures. So again, see yourself before the manger. Look at your hands and see in them a few things in your life that you have been clenching or grabbing at. Remember how little true happiness these things have brought you, then think of the happiness that would be yours if this child was born in you. With that in mind, let these gifts drop from your hands. Now show the child your open, clean hands. They are your gifts to him. They are the proof that nothing stands between you and the gifts this child has to offer you. Nothing else you lay before the newly born except your doubts and fears, your pale illusions, and your sickly pride, your hidden venom and your little love, your meager treasures and unfaithfulness to all the gifts that God has given you. Friends, this sentence is yet another twist on the traditional notion of laying gifts before the Christ child. First, you brought him nothing but your empty hands. Now you lay before him a long list of ugliest substances stored in the human mind. What kind of gifts are these? Why would the holy infant value such things? Because, again, he wants nothing for himself. He wants only your freedom, and these things are your shackles. Giving them to him means you have let yourself be free of them, and that is the only gift he wants from you. This same thought is expressed in one of the Course's most iconic remarks about Christmas. This Christmas, give the Holy Spirit everything that would hurt you. What a strange perspective on what to give to God. Normally, we are meant to lavish gifts and praise on God. We are supposed to give to him our most treasured things for sacrificing to him until it hurts. Show him how much we love him. Here, however, he doesn't want our praise nor our treasures. He wants our darkest thoughts. So why is that? Because giving our darkness to him means that we have let it go ourselves, and the only gift he wants is our freedom from its chains. Here at last, then we have a God who is truly egoless. Here at last we have a God who wants another praise nor sacrifice, but only our happiness. Here is a God who wants not to be given to, only to give. In this spirit, let us again imagine ourselves before the child of the manger. Let us first think about ways in which we have doubted the truth. Then, realizing that these doubts are chains around our mind, let us lay these chains down as gifts at the foot of the manger. Now, let us think about our fears, how ultimately unnecessary they have been, how good it would feel to be free of them finally. Let us see our fears as dark little quivering hunks of gelatin and lay these down before the manger. Now let's think about our sickly pride, about how we have held our hands above others and considered ourselves too good to really join with them. Recognizing that we would be happier if we were united with them as true equals, let us lay down this tarnished crown as another gift. Then let us think about our hidden venom, about all the vicious thoughts that we have harbored behind our smiling faces, or voiced when backs were turned. Thinking about all the guilt and shame this venom has heaped on us, let us present our fangs as another priceless gift the child is happy to receive. Let us think about our love, which has been so limited, so dependent on conditions met, so contingent on pleasures received and whims obeyed. We no longer want this little love, for it has kept us from the real thing. So let us present it as a tiny, shriveled heart to the Christ child. Now let us remember the things we earlier let drop from our hands, the meager treasures our hands have grasped after. Let us pick up these from the ground where we drop them, and make them too into gifts to the Holy Child as the expression of our lack of desire for them. Finally, my friends, let us think about the precious gifts that God has given us and how little we have truly appreciated their value, how little we have used them to the fullest. This is what the poem calls our unfaithfulness to all the gifts that God has given us. Let us see this as a cracked wedding ring and renouncing our possessions of it. Make this our final gift to the Christ child. Having laid all these gifts before the newly born, let us now realize that these ugly gifts are more precious to him than all the gold and frankincense and the myth in the entire world. Now we come to the poem's final line. Here at the altar lay all this aside to let the door to heaven wide open, and hear the angels sing of peace on earth, for Christmas is the time of your rebirth. As long as the pile of gifts remained inside of you, it blocked an ancient door from swinging open. Now, as you lay all this aside, you experience what can only be called an epiphany. You see the door to heaven open wide before you, welcoming you inside. Within its realm of delight, you hear the angels singing their eternal choruses. You hear the trumpets of eternity resound throughout the stillness, yet disturb it not. You pass into a state that is not of this world, yet which feels more like home than anything here ever has to you. The angels singing of peace on earth, of course, is a reference to the angels announcing the birth of Christ's child to the shepherds. But this time it is different. This time they are not announcing the birth of the Christ as Jesus, and you are not one of the shepherds. They are announcing the birth of Christ as you have seen in the infant Jesus, your holiness made visible to you. You have happily given away everything that prevented him from revealing to you your holiness. Now he has been reborn in you. Now you have become his holiness made visible to the world. Now you are the Christ child from within. Having at last reached the end of the poem, we can see just how different this way of looking at Christmas is. We have traditionally thought that Christmas was about baby Jesus, about paying him homage, giving him gifts, singing him songs, beating our drum for him. Oh, come, let us adore him. We have sung time and time again, yet perhaps we have thereby missed the true meaning of Christmas. According to Helen's poem, Christmas is not about praising baby Jesus as uniquely holy being and laying extravagant gifts at his feet. It is about seeing him as a visible symbol of our own holiness, an audible song of God's adoration. And it is about giving him all the darkness in us that keeps us from knowing our holiness. The following passage in the course also expresses this new view of Christmas. This, my friends, is the season when you would celebrate my birth into this world. Yet you know not how to do it. Let the Holy Spirit teach you, and let me celebrate your birth through him. We have not known how to celebrate his birth. We failed to realize that it doesn't need our praise. He came to reveal our divinity. He wants to celebrate our birth. How can we make Christmas holy? We can approach the manger in an entirely new way. We can come to it in a true silence, empty of our past ideas what Christmas is, void our preconceptions of who we are, and cleansed of every petty thought. In this hallowed silence, we can finally recognize what the Christ child has always wanted to show us. Finally, we can. The Christmas season will present us with countless opportunities to approach the manger in just this way. At this time of the year, we are virtually assaulted with reminders of Christmas, with commercials, Christmas lights, and holiday music, with shopping, decorating, and meal preparations. And as these reminders come to us, we often find our hands grasping after many meager treasures. I ask you to go to the manger today with empty hands and bring all your troubles to the Lord Jesus Christ. Let him carry your burdens. Reveal to him your holiness. May God bless each and every one of you watching and listening to wherever you might be in the world, and remember to go through life with Jesus Christ in your life. Straight from Hope Ministries Sanctuary, this is what Christmas, the holiness, is all about. May God bless you. We'll talk to you guys next time. And remember, God truly loves you. Never forget that.